Hi, everyone. Hi. So today is going to be a little bit more focused on rehab. So we'll do some work on lengthening, toning, stretching, and core. Somebody had talked about sciatica, and the last time I uploaded a sciatica video, I used a term for our behind that YouTube deemed not okay, and so they took it down. So today we'll avoid that word, and I'll just use the word gluteus maximus, and we'll work on some of those areas because I think runners, cyclists, endurance athletes in general develop a lot of things around the glutes and around the hip. And that can travel up and down the leg, and so that causes a lot of problems. So focus on sciatica, focus on the connecting muscles that sometimes when there's tension in the hip flexors and in the deep core, that can also pull on the leg, and that can be caused by sitting. So we'll try and warm up and release all of those areas, and then I'll show you strengthening exercises that you can do, because sciatica is really not about it's not about stretching. Even though you have that pain down the leg, sciatica is best addressed by working on the imbalance and then strengthening. Okay, so we'll start standing up. And we'll start off with just hip circles. So if you have problems in the hips, in the piriformis, or in the sciatic nerve, sometimes it's just looking at the alignment of your hips. So if you hinge, whether that's carrying a child, running a little off, having played a sport that has one leg stronger, it helps to first look at that. And so what we'll do to warm up is really just hip circles. So we'll go 10 times to the left and then 10 times to the right. And then we'll work on the lower back. That is also often a culprit when it comes to the sciatic nerve. Reverse. Four more. Okay, and then move in and out of a squat, so still just warming up. Feet parallel, but your feet are wide. We'll do 15 of those. Ten more. Three more. Good, and then still for the hips, bend your left knee, extend your right leg, lean, and then come across. Lean it over your head, come across to the front, lean, and come to the front. 15 of those. So we're creating some warmth and some length in the hip, but we're also involving the back. Five more, so you go straight over your head, forward, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And before switching to the other side, if that leg got a little tired, extend both legs into a wide-legged stance and keep your feet parallel still, and just come down. And instead of staying here like you would in a stretch, we're going to move the left arm up, down, and the right arm up, down. And you're only extending and twisting as far as your legs will allow, especially if you're feeling any sciatic pain. We'll do 4 more with each arm. And 2 more with each arm. Last one. Okay, so we added some twisting. Now you'll bend your right leg. Left leg is straight, and we'll do this other side. So lean, come forward, back to the straight leg. Lean, come forward. 3, 4, we're doing 15. 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you feel like you really want to stretch because you have pain in the glute area or further down in the leg, sometimes it helps to stretch the supporting tissue rather than just doing a hamstring stretch, which is where the pain tends to pop up. If you maybe stretch the side more, or which we'll do at the end, get into the hip, then that can also help open things up. So now come back into this wider stance. So feet are parallel. And we're going to hinge from the hip forward. And then bend, relax, roll up to standing. Come forward with a straight back. And roll up to standing. So think when you're coming forward, it's not just the back that works bringing you down, but it's also strong through the 2 feet, strong through the hips and through the glutes. So that's all engaging on the way forward. And you get to 90 degrees and then you relax forward and you roll back up. And we'll do 7 more. Come forward. And 6, lean. 5, and 4. Last 3, and after the last one, we'll stay there and hold. 2. And the last one, I'll have you come forward and we'll hold for 30 seconds. So bring your arms up, hinge from the hip, and hold for 30 seconds. So extend, your gaze is down at the floor, arms are extended, strong through the legs, strong through the heels. It's like you're pushing your hips back, arms forward, back is straight. We have less than 15 seconds left. And 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees. Come down into a squat. So really low, sort of like a goddess squat in yoga. And if you can't come all the way down, use any structure or yoga block to sit down for a moment. And just relax the lower back. So we just worked the lower back. We're giving it a moment to relax. And then we'll come back up. So again, we're trying to create stability in the hips and some more balance. So a lot of people are forward rotated. It's in the joint, which you actually can't see from the outside. So what we'll do now is these big circles. You'll probably hear a pop. And we'll do, you're setting your foot down each time. We'll do 10 to the outside. And then we'll do 10 to the inside. And And then reverse it inside. In, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so you'll already feel the difference between the leg that just worked and the other leg. And now do the other side. So open up wide. 2, 3, 4. If you look at good runners, middle distance, and then shorter distances, but also some of them that run further, some part of their drill will include opening up the hips like this. We'll reverse. And it's really because a lot of the endurance work is so linear, and it allows your body to incorporate bad habits. And so adding a bit of complexity helps. Let's do one more. Okay. And then we'll come down onto the mat. So we'll work on gentle core exercises that also help with sciatica. So we're starting on all fours. And from here, before you do anything else, just do cat and cow. So inhale, look up. Exhale, look back at your thighs. Inhale, look up. And exhale. 3 more. Okay. And then very straightforward, and often this works as a good reset, is bird dog. So you're just extending the right arm forward, left leg back, and we'll hold here for 30 seconds with good form. So you're looking down at the mat, your arm is straight, your hips are level, your core is engaged, your arm is extended. We're halfway there. We have 10 seconds left. 5 seconds. Okay, and then bring the arms in, arm to elbow to knee, in and out for another 30 seconds. Same side. Fifteen seconds left. Almost there. And rest. Brief child's pose. So again, instead of stretching the hamstring, we're stretching the back and the inner thighs. So knees are wide, sit back, stretch. And then we'll do the opposite side. So we'll start with left leg, right leg back, left arm forward, and hold for 30 seconds. So come up and hold. Hips are level. Ten seconds. And then from there, we'll go seamlessly into the movement. 3 more seconds here. And then elbow to knee and extend for another 30 seconds. Ten seconds left. And 3, 2, and 1. Okay. And so now instead of coming into another child's pose, I want you to keep your right knee on the mat, extend your left leg forward, and then create a 90-degree angle in the hip. So the back leg, 90 in the hip, 90 in the knee, 90 in the front knee. And so it's 90, 90, 90, 90. And then your hands, left leg is in front, come to 2 p.m. And you're just trying to sink down without changing the angles and without forcing anything. And we'll stay here for 45 seconds. And you'll just see what your tissue allows you to do. So usually what happens is your back softens, your inner thighs soften. There are structures in the hip in this angle that allow you to release, but only if you stay in this for a little longer. And none of this should hurt. You're not pulling, you're not actively stretching, you're just sinking into this structure. We have 5 more seconds. And rest. And then bring the left knee back and sort of assess what happened in the hips. One side may already feel a little more. And then bring your right leg forward. And it's the same setup. So 90-degree angle in the front knee, 90-degree angle in this hip, back knee. And then bring your hands over to 11 a.m., 11 o'clock. And we'll hold here for 45 seconds. So the traction is almost arms forward, hips back, without losing the angles in your hip. So hold for 45 seconds. Don't force it. Just sink. Release your head. Feel like you're breathing into your lumbar spine. Deep breaths across your lower back. Everything is relaxed. We have 15 more seconds here. This for me is the leg that has sciatica, the one in the front. So feeling that the adductors are more relaxed and that the hip is opening up is a really nice feeling. We have 3 more seconds, 2 and 1. So now see if you can assess if there's already a change. Okay. And then just a little bit more work. So we'll hold plank. If plank is too much for you because you're doing this and you're pregnant, you don't want to do it. I will just have you tuck your toes, press into your hands, and then press into your feet. Peel your knees off the mat for a second, and then bring them back down. So you do this about 10 times. So you hold for 2 to 3 seconds, you come back down. Tuck your toes, lift, and lower. Tuck your toes, lift, and lower. And everybody else is going to hold a regular plank with me on elbows, where we're going to do slide and lowerings for 30 seconds. So elbows on the ground, you come into plank, it's 30 seconds. And from here, your hips are just going to lift and lower and lift and lower. Same thing, about 2 seconds. And up. And up. We're halfway there. Eight seconds left. And 3, 2, and 1. Okay. And then we'll work on our side plank again. So side plank is side plank, especially on your elbow, is underrated when it has a whole host of benefits, one of them being that it's much easier than a regular plank. So you can do side plank, you can sculpt really nice abs, but you can also support other areas gentler. So you have the choice of doing side plank with your knees bent. So you're on your elbows, you just lift your hip here. Or you can do a full side plank. And so today also we'll just hold, and then the upper arm is going to move forward and back. So that adds a little bit of strain on the hip. So I'll show you straight legs. You're on your elbow, you're pressing up. And then this top arm, we're holding this for 30 seconds. It's going to come forward to the hip, up, circles. So 15 seconds, circles in one direction. So in my case, I'm going counterclockwise and reverse. 10 seconds left. And rest. Good. And then the other side. So again, if you want to lift and you have your knees bent, that's okay. So you just come up here and then the arm starts moving. Or you can do what I just did in the full side plank. I'll show you this one with bent knees because this is my stronger side. And I want to distinguish with the weaker side. So hips come up, this arm moves forward to the knee, up for 15 seconds. And reverse. Five seconds left. And rest. Okay. Good, so that was the work on elbows, on knees. Now we'll do my favorite sciatica exercise before we do a little bit more strengthening, which is nerve flossing. So you're coming down onto the ground and lifting one leg, the other knee is bent, head is down. And from here, just point and flex. And do that 15 times. So my knee, as you can see, is not completely straight because my hamstring doesn't allow it, and that's okay. We'll do 10 more. Yeah, and so this is my good leg. In this leg, this exercise will show me whether my sciatic nerve is running properly along all the lines that it should be. So the nerve is inside its sheath, and when our muscles, especially up the leg, tighten, sometimes they start touching on that nerve, and that's when you get that shooting pain. And so this leg is feeling good, which tells me that some of the pain I've been feeling may actually not be sciatica, it may be piriformis pain, which in my case is a good thing because it means I just need to stretch and release a bit more. Okay, so from here, we're coming into a bridge exercise where you press your hips up. So your hips are level, your feet are parallel, and then once your hip is up, you let go of the muscles that lifted it. So normally you would lift with your glutes, sometimes with your hamstring, and now we're going to relax all these structures, and you're going to allow the lower back muscles to take over and support your hip in this exercise. And we're going to hold this for 45 seconds. And every few seconds, remind yourself to let go of your glutes. They're not supposed to be working now. So hip bones are high, legs are parallel, feet are parallel. Let go of the glutes. It's easy to like re-engage them. And then you'll feel a tingling or a little bit of working in the lower back. And that's good. We have 15 seconds left. Let go of the hamstrings, relax them. Let go of the glutes. I'm sure you re-engage them again. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, bring your hips down. Let both knees fall to the left side. And then both knees to the right side. And keep going. So we're massaging the outer hip. We're massaging the lower back. We'll do this for 1 minute. We're coaxing the body into saying it's okay to let go of some of the tight muscles, but that doesn't work if we apply more pressure. So we have to apply a little bit of pressure and then back off. Because if we keep applying pressure, our bodies can hold that pressure much longer than we can. So they can hold that for days, weeks, years, which is often what causes chronic pain. So by coming in and out of a stretch like this, we're telling the body it's okay. And it's sort of similar to getting a massage, where a massage therapist wouldn't just stay in one area and hold that pressure. They usually apply friction, and then they let go. And then they, this is what promotes the circulation and what helps us get rid of some of the buildup. Okay, pull your knees into your chest and then hold the backs of your legs. And we're going to extend one leg gently and then the other leg. Again, pay attention to where it might hurt and don't go higher. So if you have sciatica, just go as high as you can. We'll do 10 more total. Okay, and then come onto your stomach. So part of your core is also your back. So we will hold Superman. Your legs are off the ground, chest is off the ground, and we'll just hold here. We'll hold for 30 seconds, and then for the second 30 seconds, we'll go left, right. So it's 30 seconds, 20 seconds left of just holding. We have 8 seconds left of just holding. Lift your chest a little higher, legs off the mat. And then start moving left, right, left, right. We have 20 seconds left overall. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so let's get into some stretches. We're avoiding stretching the hamstring because that's where we focused on in terms of the sciatica. So bring your right leg forward, lift your arms up, and then from here, sink into the hip flexor, which connects to the psoas, which then also means if these tighten from sitting or from running or from cycling, there's a lot of strain on the posterior chain. So we're opening this up. And then we're leaning to the right, pushing the hip out. And in this stretch, try and press through the top of your back foot. So if you're pressing into the back foot, you'll immediately feel a deepening of the stretch in the hip flexor. And then clasp your fingers behind your back and pull back. So different stretch, same effect. And then switch. So left leg comes forward. Both arms reach up. You're leaning into the right hip flexor now. So initially just forward. And then also to the left. And keep pressing through that back top of your foot. And you'll feel more like you'll be able to go deeper into the hip flexor stretch. And then clasp your hands behind your back. Open up the shoulders while pushing the hips forward. Okay, and then outer hip stretch to finish up. So ankle to knee, and that can be just one side. Or if accessible, you can have the same on this opposite side. And then you lean forward. And so, because nobody does these voluntarily for longer than 10 seconds, we're going to hold 45 seconds together. And so just to recap, when you have sciatica or pain that feels like sciatica, do not stretch your hamstring. Work on balance in the hips. Work on releasing the deep core and the hip flexor, which gets strained from sitting and from running, which means that your posture becomes this, and it puts more strain on the hamstrings and on the backside of your legs. Make sure that your lower back and your hips don't hinge. So some of the earlier exercises like bird dog, you can also do fire hydrants, and we did hip circles standing in and out. You can immediately feel which one of the two legs is weaker. Okay, switch legs in the stretch. So address all of those things gently. Then to test whether it is sciatica or it's something like piriformis, you would lie down on your back, bend your knees, extend one leg up, point and flex your foot. And so if your nerve, the sciatic nerve, is running well from your ankle through to the hip, then the pointing and flexing of your foot should not hurt. And if that doesn't hurt, but there's still pain, it's actually a good thing that you can then address other things like piriformis or gluteus medius, and those are easiest released with a lacrosse or a tennis ball, which I'll show you another time. We have 5 more seconds in this outer hip stretch, and then to sum it all up, stretch everything else that you can. So if the hamstring area hurts, stretch your calves, stretch your outer hip, stretch your thighs, stretch your hip flexors, stretch your deep core muscles, which right now, the psoas, and stretch them both forward and at an angle. Okay, so that was another rehab session, a little gentler, a little bit of core in there, and I hope this was useful. If you want to know more or you need more individual help, feel free to send me a message, and otherwise I'll see you for one more workout tomorrow. Next week we'll keep up the live, and then after that in May I'll probably roll out a slightly different type of program. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, and stay healthy and safe. Maxi, it's breakfast.